Welcome to the Creativity and Consciousness podcast, a space to explore the intersection of creativity, spirituality, and personal transformation. I'm your host, Jake Cobran, visionary artist, author, and your humble guide in the exploration of our consciousness. In each episode, we dive into ideas related to magic, visionary art, and alternative spirituality. I bring you conversations with leading thinkers and innovators to help us tap into our creative potential, expand our minds, and transform our lives. Whether you're an artist seeking inspiration, a spiritual seeker exploring new paths, or someone on a journey of self-discovery, this podcast is here to help unlock new possibilities and awaken our inner power. Let's journey beyond the ordinary. Welcome to the Creativity and Consciousness podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Creativity and Consciousness podcast. This week I wanted to share a bit about my story. I feel like I've told this story in different iterations and different versions throughout many years of my life, but I feel like over time I've kind of refined it as I've reflected on it and to understand its deeper meanings and themes and how it can be more universally relatable rather than just about my own experience. I really feel that one of the most powerful things that we can do is to make meaning of our experiences and to frame our experiences in a way that is empowering. And so that's what I attempted to do here. It's in a way my myth as much as, or even more so than it is my story. And I hope that my story is relatable. I hope it's inspiring. And if this episode triggers anything, please reach out to me and I would love to hear about it, especially because this is such a personal episode for me. And so without further ado, here is my myth. I grew up among the towering redwoods of Marin County near San Francisco, a childhood immersed in natural beauty and nurtured by a loving family. From as early as I can remember, I was painting, drawing, and creating. Art, creativity, and curiosity defined my early years. I was a voracious reader with a vivid inner world, and fantasy novels were my favorite vehicle for exploring my imagination. But as I entered my teenage years, a deep darkness descended on my mind. At 14, weighing over 250 pounds, I was consumed by depression and isolation. Thoughts of suicide haunted me daily. I'm grateful to my high school counselor, whose compassionate guidance helped steer me away from the brink. I felt invisible, shamed, shunned, and disowned, adrift without direction or meaning. Music became my refuge. I immersed myself in black and death metal, though I was mostly drawn to progressive bands like Tool, Opeth, Meshuggah, and Cynic. Their intense sounds resonated deeply with the turmoil inside me. Playing in metal bands was the only way I knew to express emotions that words couldn't capture. Yet even art and music began to feel distant. The stories I told myself kept me trapped in a cycle of despair. At the age of 14, a glimmer of hope pierced the darkness. Noticing my talent in drawing, my family encouraged me toward a possible career as a concept artist for the film and video game industry. In 2009, I attended a concept art workshop in Seattle, where I met the artist Android Jones. His visionary art struck a deep chord within me, a vivid psychedelic explosion that awakened a part of me I'd forgotten. Unlike the other artists who seemed burdened by melancholy, he radiated a kind of luminescence, confidence, and happiness. I later learned that during that era, he was indulging in pretty unbridled and reckless LSD consumption, so it could have just been that. Later, in high school, I joined a documentary filmmaking program and had the chance to interview him in his studio. This experience ignited a spark inside me, and he invited me to his art show in San Francisco, which I attended. It was my first real encounter with the psychedelic culture and the Burning Man community of San Francisco. Even though I hadn't experienced psychedelics myself, I felt an inexplicable connection to the vibrant creative energy that filled the space. Being in Android's presence, surrounded by his creations, felt like standing at the edge of a vast untapped potentiality. It was a moment of significant resonance, a recognition that there was something beyond my pain. It was as if I glimpsed my own uncultivated potential, a realm where creativity and consciousness intertwined in beautiful, unexpected ways. I knew I had found my place, though the road ahead was still unclear. By 17, the weight of my despair became unbearable. I decided to drop out of high school, a decision that felt both terrifying and necessary. I began working at an art supply store, which is to this day the only job I've ever held aside from my career as an artist, and enrolled in classes in illustration and fine art at the Academy of Art University in San Francisco. Around this time, my father, a psychologist with a deep interest in Buddhism, introduced me to meditation and the teachings of the insightful Dharma teacher Jack Kornfield. Meditation became a lifeline. Sitting in stillness brought a sense of peace and clarity I hadn't felt in years. I began peeling back the layers of my pain, revealing glimpses of a different direction, a life filled with possibilities and meaning. Through my father, I was introduced to Ram Dass, and eventually I discovered Aldous Huxley's The Doors of Perception. Their insights into consciousness and spirituality opened doors I didn't know existed. Around the same time, Android Jones introduced me to the works of Terence McKenna, further expanding my horizons. Inspired by these thinkers, I felt an unwavering pull to explore the depths of my own mind, a voyage both frightening and exhilarating. At the age of 18, I took a leap of faith. I had my first experience with psilocybin mushrooms. Approaching it with reverence and intention, I viewed it as a sacred ceremony, a potent medicine for the soul. That journey was life-changing. Layers of negativity and self-doubt were stripped away, revealing a clearer understanding of myself and my connection to the universe. I experienced a deep sense of union, an awakening that touched the core of my being. The world shimmered with a luminous beauty I'd never seen before. It was a vivid revelation, a transmission from the divine that shifted my perspective in unimaginable ways. As I lay alone in my bedroom after ingesting the mushrooms, my concept of self, my ego, was completely stripped away, leaving only an essential consciousness that reminded me that my true nature was pure love. I couldn't remember my name or even that I once had one. All I felt was ecstasy, bliss, and unconditional love. I laughed and cried simultaneously for what felt like eternity. It reminded me that the joy and love I knew as a child were still alive within me. This enlightening experience was a salvation, a benevolent intervention that validated my existence. We often use the word trauma to communicate a specific concept, that an acutely negative experience can mark us forever, or at least for a very long time. What baffles me is that there is no word to describe the opposite, how an acutely positive experience can also leave us forever changed. Abraham Maslow, the founder of humanistic psychology, explored our ability to reach human potential beyond our basic needs. Central to his work is the idea of peak experiences, which he describes as moments of utmost happiness, fulfillment, and connection, being more integrated and less at odds with oneself. These are moments of heightened wonder, awe, and a transcendence of one's ordinary perception of reality. There are many facets of these peak experiences. Individuals often feel more whole, alive, self-sufficient, and yet a connected part of the world. They perceive usually inaccessible truths and insights, spurred by enhanced awareness. These experiences can lead to lasting changes in one's view of themselves and existence. Just like how trauma, although the whole experience that creates it may only last a moment, can forever change a person, these peak experiences can significantly alter one's self-concept and worldview, leaving an indelible and positive mark upon the person. We don't have a word for the types of acutely and intensely positive experiences that can leave us forever altered. One possible word that I've invented to describe this phenomenon is euphorigenesis, from euphoria and genesis, indicating a new beginning sparked by immense joy. These are pivotal, life-affirming moments that can influence our lives in crucial and permanent ways. The truth remains that just as an acutely negative experience, a trauma, can leave us altered and constrained, there is also the reality that peak experiences of happiness and well-being lead to long-lasting changes. In my experience, these life-affirming and joyously transformative moments are the ultimate antidote to trauma. They are why psychedelics, which often contribute to the realization of these catalytic and life-enhancing peak experiences, are effective for treating trauma. Since that day, I've become an advocate of psychedelics and their impact on consciousness, health, art, psychology, and spirituality. I've embarked on many other journeys, including a 10-day ayahuasca retreat with the Shipibo people in the Amazon rainforest of Peru. These experiences have been both challenging and deeply healing, offering insights that I'm still integrating. They are a testament to the transformative power of sacred medicine and the depths of inner exploration. At 18, I had another life-altering experience. I took LSD for the first time, alone in my room with nothing but a pencil and my sketchbook. As the medicine began to weave its magic, I entered an ecstatic and epiphanous eruption of creativity. It felt as if my hand was guided by the divine, each stroke a transmission from a higher intelligence. I wasn't just drawing, I was witnessing creation unfold before me, a vivid manifestation of the infinite. Immersed in this creative current of energy, I felt no fear, only intense wonder, amazement, and immense gratitude. The boundaries between myself and the art dissolved, revealing a luminous truth, that I was a channel for something far greater than myself. That night was a sublime embrace of my true essence, a sacred communion that reaffirmed my calling and ignited an unwavering passion within me. Shortly after these pivotal and life-defining psychedelic experiences, while working at the art supply store, I had a significant encounter. A visionary artist named Ka Amor Estrella walked in. She seemed to glow more vibrantly than any other customer I'd seen before. She noticed my Cynic band shirt, featuring artwork by Robert Venosa, a pioneer in the visionary art movement. She mentioned she was friends with Venosa and curated a visionary arts association connected with luminaries like Alex and Allison Gray. That moment felt like an angelic intervention, a synchronistic blessing that connected me to a larger community of artists who viewed creativity as a sacred duty and service. It was evident that something beyond coincidence was guiding me. Motivated by this encounter, in 2012, I applied for a painting workshop with Alex and Allison Gray. To my amazement, I was accepted on a scholarship. At 18, I traveled alone to New York to meet them, a journey filled with excitement and nervous anticipation. The Grays were incredibly encouraging of my art. Being among them felt like finding my tribe, a community where my passion for art and spirituality was not only accepted but celebrated. Allison Gray encouraged me to attend Burning Man, and I embraced the opportunity. I went to Burning Man for the first time at 18 years old, despite never having been to a festival before and knowing no one there. That week at Burning Man was deeply transformative. Immersed in the vibrant creative energy, I felt a deep and profound awakening. I spent the week experiencing the festival and with intention, although definitely not always in the wisest or safest way, partook in significant doses of psychedelics, even though I had barely used any before. In the Fractal Nation Art Gallery, under the influence of LSD, I had a revelation. It was my purpose to be a visionary artist. It was a moment of clarity and conviction, a crescendo that has guided me ever since. The universe felt infinite, and for the first time, I felt like an integral part of its divine unfolding. There at Burning Man, I met artists like Luke Brown, Amanda Sage, and Michael Devine, and was introduced by Android to Jen Ingram, the founder of Tribe 13 Art Gallery. These connections were immensely significant. They became allies and mentors who inspired me to embrace my path fully. But one of the most impactful aspects of Burning Man was encountering so many people who were radically supported for living totally authentic and yet radically alternative lives. I met individuals from all walks of life, including a woman who is a professional cuddler making over 6 figures a year. This opened doors to new ways of being, showing me that life is far more malleable than we assume it to be, and that anything is possible. The artists I met at the Fractal Nation Art Gallery were living an awesome, inspirational, and joyous life. They were being flown around the world to the most amazing festivals, surrounded by the most beautiful and inspired people. They were having extraordinary psychedelic experiences, fully immersed in service and passion to their art, and they were being extraordinarily loved and supported for it, both emotionally and financially. I was inspired beyond measure. I wanted to do that. I saw that this was my new direction in life. I didn't know how, but I was going to be a visionary artist. After Burning Man, I made the difficult decision to drop out of college and dedicate myself entirely to my path as an artist, making it my full-time profession. Shortly after, I quit my job at the art store to pursue this calling. Leap and the net will appear. Burn the ships behind you. It was a scary choice, a leap into the unknown, but it felt like a necessary sacrifice to align with my soul's mission. I tuned in, turned on, and dropped out. Thanks, Timothy. Through pure synchronicity and serendipity, this journey led me to travel the globe, creating visionary art and sharing it at festivals like Azora Festival in Hungary and many other various countries. At 19 and 20, I was being flown around the world to showcase my artwork. Each experience was a revelation, a confirmation that I was living in alignment with my true purpose. It was evident that a benevolent force was guiding me, supporting me in ways I couldn't fully comprehend. In 2014, I went to Vienna, Austria to study in the tradition of Ernst Fuchs at the Vienna Academy of Visionary Art. There I learned techniques of painting in the tradition of the old Renaissance masters, including an obscure method combining egg tempera and oil paints, called the Misch technique. Later, I went to Florence, Italy to pursue classical training in drawing and painting at the Angel Academy of Art with Master Michael John Angel. These experiences enriched my craft, allowing me to express my vision with greater clarity and grace. The ancient Greeks had the concept of the Daimon, a benevolent guiding spirit that accompanies us through life, nudging us towards our true purpose. This guiding presence, sometimes referred to as the holy guardian angel, represents the quintessence of our being, the pure potential shimmering within us. According to James Hillman's acorn theory, as written about in the Soul's Code, each of us carries within us an acorn, a seed of potential that holds our unique destiny. I eventually realized that there was something beyond that was guiding me on this path, and that it had an invested interest in me realizing my dharma. I realized that art was more than a personal passion. It was my sacred duty, a way to serve something greater than myself. It became clear that nurturing my relationship with my Daimon was not just important, but imperative, the only true relationship worth cultivating. Aligning with my soul and mission was the only path to genuine satisfaction and fulfillment in life. Embracing this alignment demanded difficult decisions, scary choices, and significant sacrifices. Dropping out of high school and later college were terrifying leaps into the unknown, moments of surrender that required unwavering trust in the benevolent guidance of my Daimon. These challenges were not burdens, but meaningful opportunities for transformation, a magical journey into the depth of my own consciousness. The sacrifices were immense, but the rewards were phenomenal. Each step brought me closer to my true self, peeling back layers of fear and doubt, revealing the luminous essence of who I am meant to be. The Jungian psychologist, Bill Plotkin, speaks of the journey to true adulthood as one involving soul initiation, a transformative descent into the underworld of our psyche, where we confront our shadows and emerge transformed. This process is not for the faint of heart. It requires embracing the unknown with courage and integrity. Plotkin suggests that by aligning with our soul's mission, we become genre-defining geniuses, unique expressions of creativity and innovation that contribute significantly to the greater good. This metamorphosis is our destiny if we live in harmony with our souls, a natural path of progress that leads to remarkable fulfillment. I came to see that my journey was not just about personal fulfillment, but about serving others through my art, offering visionary expressions that could inspire and awaken the consciousness of others and contribute positively to the transpersonal narrative of which we are all a part. I saw myself as part of this fractal, this current of potential overtaking the world. The immense rewards of aligning with my soul's mission far outweighed any sacrifices. It's evident that our relationship with our Daimon is the cornerstone of a meaningful life. By listening to our inner guidance, which speaks to us at times in shouts and at times in whispers, and embracing the significant potential within, we unlock a matrix of pure potentiality, a divine source of creativity and inspiration. This alignment is not just the way to satisfaction, it is the only way to live a life of deep impact and joy. Embracing this path has been both challenging and incredibly rewarding. The urgency to align with our soul cannot be overstated. In a world filled with distractions and external pressures, staying true to our inner calling is a sacred act of devotion, a commitment to live authentically and passionately. The journey demands trust, courage, and the willingness to face our deepest fears, but the momentum it creates is life-affirming. It's a sublime embrace of our true nature, a luminous awakening to the opulent possibilities that await when we honor the divine guidance of our Daimon. Through this alignment, we don't just find satisfaction, we experience a meaningful transformation that ripples out to touch the lives of others, contributing to a more beautiful and compassionate world. There is a force in the world I can only describe as magic. I began reading about and studying magic around the same time I first started meditating, and had some of my most influential first experiences by practicing the art of lucid dreaming, exploring intense and strange dream worlds. Magic is real, but it is likely not what you have thought it is. Magic is the art of mastering and directing the internal unseen world so that changes in our outer realities conform to the inner world. Our thoughts, feelings, impulses, intuitions, and perceptions dance and entwine with what unfolds in our external environments in intricate and mysterious ways. An inner shift must precede any significant change in the outer world. My practice and study of magic have completely transformed my life by allowing me to have greater power and agency to envision and create the life I truly want for myself. I believe that magic is our birthright. We all have things we'd like to have in our lives, to be, to experience, and to achieve, yet many of us feel frustrated and powerless to attain these things. Magic is a toolkit for understanding and utilizing the powers of your psyche to radically impact and create the circumstances you desire in your life. As a teenager and young adult, the shifts in my consciousness and self-identity preceded major transformations in my physical body. As I let go of limiting beliefs and negative narratives, I found the strength to change my life. Over time, I lost over 100 pounds, not through any forced regimen, but as a natural outcome of aligning with my true self. This transformation was a vivid testament to the power of embracing one's inner truth. It was as if the weight I carried was not just physical, but a manifestation of the burdens I held within. Letting go was both liberating and life-affirming. Now, years later, I live in Bali, surrounded by beauty and inspiration, and magic is a way of life and an omnipresent force I recognize and weave with gratitude and reverence. Many of my adolescent heroes are now my friends. I've become the hero I needed when I was young, lost and in pain. Life has a way of coming full circle when we align with our true path and listen to the guidance of our Daimon and soul. I'm living my dream life, dedicated to art, the sharing of knowledge, and the exploration of consciousness. I've recently completed my first book, a 2-year project titled The Path Within, Ritual Magic and the Gateway of Self-Mastery, which will be published next year by Cross Crow Publishing. The book is about the techniques and theories of ritual and ceremonial magic and its transformative impact. Through magic, we learn to shape our lives with intention, to live in service to something greater than ourselves. It's a practice that cultivates clarity, empowers us to embrace our mission, and fosters a significant connection with the divine. Writing this book was an act of surrender, allowing wisdom to flow through me, channeling insights that I hope will inspire others. My journey has taught me that we are all connected to a matrix of pure potential, a divine source accessible when we open ourselves to it. By embracing our unique gifts and listening to our inner guidance, we can live lives of meaningful impact. Our struggles and challenges become opportunities for growth, leading us toward fulfillment and joy. It's evident that when we trust the process, life unfolds in remarkable, unexpected ways. I'm inspired by the idea that art has the power to change us, to inspire us, and to significantly alter our lives and consciousness. The artwork of the artists I've admired has had such a meaningful impact on my life, literally changing it. I hope that my artwork can have the same effect on others. Art can communicate important and inspiring messages, speaking in a universal language that transcends words. It can inspire feelings of love, fear, or reverence, a multitude of emotions that can influence changes in the world. An artwork can be a sigil, an act of magic that can transform ourselves, our realities, and those who experience it. Art saved my life. It gives my life purpose. I'm grateful that I've been able to build a life around it. I share my story as an offering, a testimony to the power of embracing one's true purpose. It's a journey both deeply personal and universally accessible. We all have the capacity for transformation, for tapping into the infinite possibilities that await us. By trusting in the benevolent guidance of our Daimon and embracing the latent potential within us, we can create lives of remarkable fulfillment, impact, and joy. We are capable of so much more than we often realize. By opening ourselves to the possibilities of intensely positive change, we can transcend our limitations and step into a life of purpose, creativity, and fulfillment. If you're hearing this, I believe in you. I believe in your potential, your capacity for transformation, and the unique gifts that you have to offer the world. May my story serve as a beacon, illuminating the path that leads inward to the very essence of who you are. Trust in the journey, embrace your own euphorigenesis, and allow the magic of life to unfold within and around you. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. I am the DFT Elf. Escape into your dimension. New episodes of the Creativity and Consciousness podcast drop each week. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to stay connected and join a like-minded community, hop in the Telegram group where we discuss the latest episodes and ideas they spark. Sending you instant love and gratitude for being part of this journey.